Welcome back to KY Connect. Today, we hear from Wilson. Wilson is a young consultant who's based in Shanghai and he's got a great question for me.
好，我想问到你一个非常生活的问题啊，就是我们的身边经常会有朋友来找我们吐槽或者聊一些事情嘛。那与此同时呢，他们可能也会想要听到我们的一些客观评价啊。但是每当我把自己放到他们的处境去思考的时候，我往往可以感受到那种愤怒、那种喜悦或那种遗憾，以至于我会认为我给到的一些建议可能会有失公正。所以我的问题就是呢，当我们很设身处地的在为别人着想，在感受那个事件的时候，我们要怎么样与此同时还可以给到一个非常客观的建议呢？
When I think of Wilson's question, it reminds me of my friend Alastair. Alastair, who has contributed to Question to KY Connect in the past, is a very successful consultant based in the UK. He also volunteers at Samaritans UK. Samaritans is a global organization that provides listening services to people in need. So let's chat with Alastair on his experience of volunteering at Samaritans on how we can learn to respond to Wilson's question. Welcome to KY Connect, Alastair. Thank you for joining us.
Hi KY, good to see you.
So you've just heard Wilson's question, right? So I'd like to refer to your work at Samaritans because Samaritans is a listening service and you do get calls from people that you don't know who could be in quite traumatic situations. So how do you stay connected to the person who calls you, but at the same time kind of remain objective in your role at the Samaritans?
What we think about is walking alongside that person. We focus really on giving them time and space to think before they speak, reflecting back what we've heard, checking and summarizing, maybe clarifying some of the emotional responses we may have detected in their tone of voice or where they pause in a sentence. So it's really tuning in. So we're focusing on listening to understand, not listening to answer and resolve.
How do you hold back on the advice giving?
If you think about advice, most people only take advice if it's what they were planning to do anyway. I would focus on understanding the situation and then using questions to help that person navigate to their own solution. Advice should be, outside of Samaritans, a last resort. Ideally, we should encourage that person to navigate through to their own solution or options.
Sometimes, especially the intense calls that you get, you may not be able to identify with the situation that person is in. So how do you develop empathy without really understanding what this person is really going through?
So I think time and space are really important. So knowing when to keep your mouth shut and just use silence so that person has some thinking time. But also, there are situations I'm never going to understand and I'm not going to pretend that I do. And so we focus on exploring feelings. So using questions like, tell me what that's like for you when that happens, or describe how you felt when this person said this to you. So focusing on those feelings allows us to walk alongside them, but to maintain some distance as well. So we're demonstrating care and empathy, but there are also boundaries in place for our own psychological well-being as well as that of the callers.
Again, thank you so much for your contribution to KY Connect, Alastair. Thank you. My takeaway from the conversation with Alastair is to focus on the concept of empathy. Empathy is our ability to recognize, understand, and appreciate the feelings of the other person. Empathy is not sympathy. Empathy is also not about being nice all the time. Empathy doesn't mean I agree with the other person, and empathy is not about providing solutions. My tip for all of you today is this: to practice empathy, practice empathetic questioning by asking about the emotions of the other person, and then practice mindful listening to really listen to what the other person is saying. Best of luck in your practice, and I look forward to seeing you again on KY Connect.